All right, now we're rolling. Austyn, thank you for coming, man. I appreciate it.
All good, all good.
So yeah, those of you who are listening, I'm sure you just heard the intro. Austyn, you had an incredible junior career, probably one of the most historic junior teams of all time regarding the CHL.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
For sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, there's teams like the Sioux and stuff this year that are really impressive in that. But when I think back at how good our team was and how much all four lines could really roll and be no problem out there, it was really something.
That's what I was nervous about you coming on. I don't want you to be humble when you're like, I know you're a humble guy, but like when you talk about this team or just like your whole junior experience, because even the year you won the Mem Cup and the year before that, you guys were still incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, let's get to it. So the Halifax Mooseheads in general, before you got to that organization, who were you drafted by in the Q, first of all?
So I was drafted first round to Chicoutimi.
Okay.
And they had 2 picks before me. Charles Hudon, who's actually playing for Montreal right now, and Poulin, which was another defenseman. So they picked, I think it was like 3rd and 6th, and then I was 12th.
Okay.
And ended up being that they weren't going to match what I wanted for schooling after I was done hockey.
Which is a big thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially in the first round, and that a lot of teams were able to give you a good package for if you didn't end up signing or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my agent wasn't able to get anything out of them, so I decided to stay back, play another year of midget, and kind of look at NCAA, see what my options were, do the clearinghouse, do all that stuff. And then Mooseheads came calling the next summer, and we're like, we're going to trade for you if you still want to come. And because the original plan was pretty much to go to the Mooseheads in the 2nd or 3rd round, because that's where I was projected.
Oh, did they talk to you during that draft year?
Oh yeah, we talked to like back and forth a lot, and that was the original plan. But then Chicoutimi came out of nowhere, didn't really ever talk to me much, and picked me.
Okay.
So then that happened, and then got traded to Halifax the next summer.
Yeah.
And then didn't really ever look back after that. Never got traded. Played close to 300 games with Mooseheads, and yeah.
You have no idea like the amount of just like enviness I have towards you when you say that. It's like any kid growing up in Halifax, you were to play for that team, and you got to, even though I know you didn't grow up here, but like you have to understand. I'm sure you do. Obviously, you've played there. The royalty that comes with playing on that team.
Yeah, for sure.
So before you even got to the team, did you know that the Halifax Mooseheads were a first-class organization, almost like the Quebec Ramparts? Like, did you know, or did you just hear?
I mean, there was always stories about you knew who the big teams were in the league and who like really had a good fan base and who like treated their players well. But again, I was young. I really didn't know much. I mean, my agent was a huge part of that to bring me here and stuff like that. But once I got here, it was really eye-opening of how much you really are appreciated when you play junior for the Mooseheads. Like, I mean, playing in front of averaging 6,000 people, 7,000 people a game, that's pretty cool for a kid that was like 17 growing up and maybe played in front of 100 people before that. So,
well, that's another point I want to bring up. Did the crowds really have anything? Like, how old were you your first year? 17?
Yeah, my first year.
And that was the first year MacKinnon was there too, right?
Yeah.
So the crowds definitely got a little bit bigger. Was that anything that affected with you during your game, or is it something you don't even really notice when you're playing?
I think, well, the type of player I am, it's not. It doesn't really make a difference in my life. Like, they'll see a mistake or something, but it's not like I'm a guy that feeds off the crowd because I make a big play or stuff like that. I'm really low key, so I don't think it made a big difference. I'm like the first 10, 15 games that I played in front of a big crowd, it was weird because obviously I'd never done that before. But after that, it was pretty much just another game.
Well, that was always one thing I was curious about. Even guys in the NHL, it's like, okay, they play in front of 20,000 every single night, but do they get excited anymore, or is it just kind of a regular thing? So let's say, for example, you have a game on a Tuesday at the Metro Center. There's going to be 10,000 people, and you're playing St. John Sea Dogs. Are you getting up for that game, or is that just another game on the schedule, like a grind?
I think the fans really come in like specialty games, like over Christmas when you have like the Battle of Nova Scotia, or like
played in that game.
Really? Yeah. And or even obviously crowds come in playoffs and that. Like I still get goosebumps thinking about like a Ferks overtime winner in playoffs against Rouyn-Noranda, like how loud that place was. And that's when you really notice the fans is come playoff time is when it gets pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that goal too. The place erupted.
Oh yeah.
And I've been going to those games since I was 5 years old. I don't know if I've ever seen the arena.
No, that was beyond what I've ever experienced. Like even when we won it on home ice with the President's Cup, it still wasn't like that erupt that series in general against Rouyn was probably the hardest series we had to play.
Yeah.
Baie-Comeau was good, but they weren't anything compared to Rouyn. Rouyn had Andrighetto, Kucherov. They had great goalie. Like it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine. And the whole city was just a buzz too, especially when the Mooseheads go far in playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Like just you probably everywhere you went with your billets, like everything. There was probably. Do you ever get sick of it? Just people talking nonstop hockey to you back then? Yeah,
I mean, I still get it sometimes. Just like, oh, do you really miss it? Do you really miss junior? All those experiences were amazing, and they made me who I am today.
Absolutely.
But it's not something like I reminisce back, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I was back there, back in that position. All those memories are exactly what I wanted. Like I got the epitome of a junior career.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I would be like, oh, I want to go back right now and do it over again. Because it's an experience, and I want to get more experiences like that doing other things.
Absolutely.
Right? And but sometimes it does. Other times it's the same. It's just the same old questions. Like, how was it playing with Nate? How was it playing with Joe?
Well, that's what I was nervous about you coming here. I was like, fuck, is he really going to want to talk to me? Because I am going to ask you about that. Trust me. I hope you don't get sick of it.
Well, no.
But it's going to lead into, like, once I ask these questions, we'll lead into them. So it'll be better. So honestly, I want to start your first training camp.
Yeah.
Like, I want to start training camp because, you had the number, MacKinnon was there. I don't even know if Drouin was there
Joe
first year.
Wasn't there yet. He had said he was going to NCAA, which...
Did he?
Yeah, he had some, like, I'm pretty sure he was verbal commit somewhere. And so he didn't come until Christmas that year.
Yeah, I knew that,
But my first training camp with Nate, I
just want to pause you really quick. Was it true that Eichel was going to be playing for them? Is that what happened
so
there?
we had drafted him. It wasn't that year. It was the summer after my first year.
Okay.
We had drafted him in like the 8th or 9th round.
Okay.
Just like they'll do that most of the time. They'll go and grab like a USA development guy or something like that. Say if NCAA doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that would have been crazy. Eichel was supposed to play with us our Mem Cup year.
Yeah, I remember hearing that, and I was just like, no way, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to get off track. So let's go back to Joe in the first year training camp. And then
Yeah. So Joe wasn't there. Nate, probably the most impressive player I've ever been on the ice with. Just even when he was 16, he was unbelievably.
In what sense? Because we as a fan, you get to see him. So talk about being on the ice with them.
He's just in another division. Like his work ethic is insane. Like you see how good he is, and you see how much like you see all the skill he has and stuff like that. But he wasn't like he's got the perfect body for it. He's jacked. He works hard and everything. But he's just so mentally there. Like you could tell like how passionate he is about the game because he misses a shot, he gets mad at himself, he comes back and he scores that shot. You know what I mean? Like he works so hard at what he does that it's no surprise to see how good he is right now because
all saw it at 16.
Playing with him like day in day out for 2 years, it was impressive to see. It was a little nerve-wracking too because like
how was it nerve-wracking?
with those skilled guys like Marty Ferk and like Joe and Nate and everything, like you missed a pass in practice, you weren't.
What do you mean?
They would get pissed.
Would they?
Oh yeah, and like not in a bad way. Like
I know you just feel it.
Yeah. You can feel the pressure, and especially in Mem Cup year, like our practices looked like NHL practices. Like I remember this distinctly in Mem Cup. Our coach told our black aces not to get on with us and practice with us anymore because they were messing up drills. He said, "You guys practice after. We don't need that."
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So like, it's just stuff like that
That's
made
incredible.
it different. But yeah, back to Nate and my first training camp. Yeah, it was just an experience itself, especially with coming to Dom too, Ducharme.
That's another guy I want to talk about because that's some big news lately for him.
Yeah, probably one of the best coaches I've ever had. Really. Yeah, just scary as hell. But
is he intimidating?
Yeah, he's a very intimidating guy. Like if you work hard for him, he gives you a lot. He has a lot of respect.
But that's the best kind of coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially at the age of 16, 17.
Yeah.
You might not realize it then, but looking back on it now, my best coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting in trouble with him was a little scary.
Yeah. You know what? I do want to talk about that later for sure. So training camp first year, media coverage, you're with your first billet, you're with an all-star that you know is going to be in the NHL no matter what. Did you know you were going to be on the team that first year, or were you still trying out?
Well, I had
17-year-old.
Well, I had an idea. Like Cam had emailed me and asked me what I wanted as a number and stuff like that. And the way I am anyways, I always thought like I'm not on the team until someone shakes my hand
mindset
and says, look, you're on the team, this is what it is. But so it was just hard work for like 3 weeks straight, and like just it's terrible. And it's just really just nervousness and trying to get through cuts and stuff. But yeah, I mean, in the position that I was in with what they traded for me, I thought I was going to make it for sure, but I still had to put in the work to be there, right? Yeah. But no, it was an interesting camp.
So what did you think of the city and everything, like when you first got here? Was there like a part of you that was like, maybe this isn't for me, or did the organization make you feel comfortable right away?
It was pretty seamless. Like what I found it different coming from Montreal and living that fast, it's like just a fast-paced life. Everyone's on their own lane and they really just put their heads down and they're doing their own thing. With coming to Halifax, everyone, it's just that maritime mentality. Everyone's so nice. Everyone says hi to you right away, and like that's what threw me off the most, was just
the politeness.
Like it was like the lifestyle outside of hockey and everything, and I loved it. Like it was just weird. Like I'd be walking around in the mall and someone would say hi to me. I'm like, what do you want? Like,
no way.
Yeah, like it's just different lifestyles and stuff. But it was great. It was something I loved about this place, and what pretty much made me want to stay here for so long. Yeah. So yeah, it was seamless. Like pretty comfortable right away.
Now thinking about it, you were here playing for 4 years and for the Mooseheads. That's a very fortunate career, especially with that organization. Yeah. I think that says a lot about your personality, because there's been times where, you know, they're not afraid to ship someone out if, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even playing university right now with a lot of guys from all over the CHL, like you see guys, like it's normal for guys to have played on 3 teams.
Yeah. It's a quick turnaround.
It's I'm probably one of the only guys that played 4 years on the same team on my university team right now. And so I thought it was normal at the time, but now that I think about it, I was very fortunate to be able to not have to move around, just be comfortable in where I was.
Were you with the same billet for all 4 years in Halifax?
So my first 2 years, I had a billet, and they moved out to the Valley.
Okay. So
then I moved in with the Sykes family my third and fourth year, and both families were unbelievable. Yeah. Like best billets I could have asked for, honestly. It made me feel comfortable. Food was amazing. Like really nothing to complain about.
Isn't that the best feeling, knowing that like your hockey's good and your at home life is good?
Yeah, exactly. Like it made it so I all I needed to focus on was the school I was doing and hockey. Like it wasn't a factor, the thing, I'm going home to shitty food or stuff like that. It was never that. It was perfect.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the actual I know we did just talk about the organization, but like once you were on the team, did you hear from other teams and like the guys that were on in other organizations say how good the Mooseheads were compared to another team, like a team that didn't have enough, like more money, I guess you could say? Yeah. Then did you realize kind of how fortunate like the situation was?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you looked at the bottom tier teams, and it's nothing against them and stuff like that. It's just it's community owned teams and stuff like that. Like, and then you look at our facilities and what we get to go into every day. It was it was pretty nice to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
even like the support that I still get from the Mooseheads, like I'm still able to email the owner and ask him a question about like something that has to do
Are you?
with
So they
my
keep in
school.
touch when you're
Yeah,
done.
yeah, for sure. Like there's really no problem that way. And I know they do that for a lot of other guys that even if they played 2 years or stuff like that, it's more. It's a family.
It's a family.
It's who you really like. For me, especially, it's who I grew up with for 4 years and turned me into the person I am today. Really.
So what about players? Like since that year in 2013, do you still keep in touch with a lot of guys?
I mean, I would love to still keep in touch with like the NHL guys, but I don't want to be that guy either to be like all over them. But
Yeah.
I see them around and I can say hi to them and
Yeah.
catch up and that. Obviously I still play against a lot of them too in university hockey, like Brent, Darcy. I played with Stephen Gillard and Macaulay and all them. So like it's all guys that continued with me, and then other guys that may have lost touch now, but I'm sure if we saw each other, it'd be right back to normal, really, because of the times we went through. So,
well, that's good, man. It's always nice to hear that as soon as you're done, especially the historic year you guys had that everyone keeps in touch. I'd always imagine like seeing a guy at the bar just being like, "What's up?" It would just always be nice to catch up because you guys could always have so many stories to talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like even when the tweet came out about Halifax getting the Memorial Cup, like I had tweeted at the Mooseheads saying, "Oh, like, are we gonna have a reunion?" And I got a bunch of messages back from like old teammates and stuff like that saying, are you organizing this?" I'm like, "Well, I can, but yeah, it's just nice. Like, it's nice to know that like guys are still think about that team. It's kind of like a brotherhood that you get pretty easily with something like that.
Oh yeah, the whole city still thinks about it.
Yeah,
Still a big because that's the first year they ever won even the President's Cup.
Yep.
I think. Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Mem Cups, obviously the Mem Cup. Actually, I'm thinking back to that year. Did they still have the orange seats in the Metro Center when you went? Did they?
Yeah, going to the Metro Center now is weird for me.
Isn't it? Or the Scotiabank Center.
Yeah,
Was it called the Metro Center back then? Oh, I still do it.
They changed Scotiabank. I don't know if they changed. No, they didn't change it my last year. It was a year after my fourth. They changed it to the Scotiabank. They got a big sponsorship there. So
That's no good. I like the Metro Center,
I
the
know.
orange seats.
Yeah.
It makes it.
It's weird. But even when I played there, my first year at St. Mary's, like the Nationals were there and stuff. And playing there with the dark seats is weird. You lose the puck really easily.
Interesting.
Well, obviously with the university hockey, there wasn't a lot of people. I'm sure it's easier when there's people in the seats, but yeah, with the orange, you would never lose anything, even in practice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's awesome what they're doing to the place. They're doing all the renovations that place needed. So
Yeah, I guess so. At least they didn't tear it down and build a new one. At least it's still there.
Yeah.
How nice is it playing in the Metro Center? Like the boards, like how flexible the boards are.
Oh, yeah.
How easy is it to like not rim the puck, but just like bounce it off the boards and get a reflection right back up into the slot?
Yeah, I got used to the ice. I love the boards. The boards were the best.
Because I heard in like Quebec, there's boards that are just cement.
Oh yeah,
in some rinks.
In Victoriaville, Val d'Or, the boards are literally set in cement, and in Val d'Or they sit on top of it. So like the ice, like the top of the board, and then the glass goes up. Their feet are on like the top of the board, like it's set in the cement. It's terrible.
That's how you get hurt.
Oh yeah,
that's like.
Yeah,
that should not be a thing in junior hockey.
It shouldn't be. And most of those rinks are not even NHL size either.
What's the worst rink in the queue?
Worst rink in the queue. It's funny. All those ice surfaces are good.
Yeah.
Like play-wise,
ice
board
surfaces
sucks.
Yeah.
But I would say the worst places to play in the queue, well, because we had Nate and stuff, was like Baie-Comeau and Rouen.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like whenever we had to have police escorts and stuff like that. In
fucking way.
In Baie-Comeau, yeah, for sure.
Are you fucking serious?
We brought down 2 cops with us from Halifax.
Jesus.
Yeah, in playoffs they threw beers at
the
Fuchs.
bus.
We were leaving in the bus. There was beers smashing on the side of the bus and stuff.
Was it like directly like at Nate? Essentially.
Well, they always stayed around Nate and. Yeah, so they were throwing beers at us on the bench at the end of the game when we were winning Game 4, and Actually, even my mom in the stands. My mom was wearing my jersey in the stands in Baie-Comeau because it's a 6-hour drive for my parents, and they poured beer on my mom.
No.
And my dad's not a small person. Like, he's like 6'3", like 270, and
what did he do?
he looked back at
it?
them and was like, "I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you guys if you don't back the fuck off," and stuff like that. And like, so like all our parents were sitting together, so everyone just like kind of like defended my mom. But yeah, that by far is one of the shittiest places to play.
Baie-Comeau.
Oh yeah.
And plus, it's a terrible travel day. I don't know. You guys probably flew.
Yeah, in playoffs, usually after the first round, we flew private.
Yeah, shout out to Bobby Smith.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah.
that was a privilege. Like, I know we would fly and Baie-Comeau would be busing.
Talk about an advantage.
Yeah, so we flew home after Game 4, and Baie-Comeau was on the way in their bus. Yeah, it's like.
That's just like ultimate chirping.
Yeah,
like just bait. Just like, yeah, you drove here.
Yeah, it was something else, especially with that. It was just weird to see that, because even like teams like, I'm pretty sure Gatineau and Drouin flew to
Gatineau
us.
didn't fly. I don't think so. I got a buddy that played on Gatineau. They might have.
I don't know.
Did you hear something else?
I don't know. I'm just assuming. But okay. I know Drouin flew to us, but. Val d'Or flew, but they're sponsored by Air Quebec, so they're sponsored by an airline, so they fly everywhere. But yeah, it's just talk about advantage. Like, I know out west and stuff, like in the Western League, you're not allowed to fly anywhere.
Why not?
Because again, you have community-owned teams, and you have teams that are just absurdly rich, so and they can't balance it.
That's true.
So it would be a disaster for playoffs, especially for them, because they got like 24-hour trips, right? Mm-hmm. In their own division. Mm-hmm. So that'd be nuts.
I didn't know that there were community-owned teams in the queue. I thought that they were all privately owned.
Yeah, like Baie-Comeau's
community-owned.
Yeah, like community owns the rink and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would maybe not the team, like the name.
Yeah,
but the rink and facilities and everything. Some teams are community.
So it's almost like the Green Bay Packers, how like everyone's an owner or something.
Yeah. But they treat it a little.
Yeah, a little bit different, a little bit. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about. I'm not saying sorry, but MacKinnon as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
How did he handle the pressure? Was he humble? Did he come into the room he's the best player on the team at 16? Was there anyone? Was there any controversy? I guess you could say. Because he's trying to be the best player he can be, and I'm sure he's a little bit vocal about that.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever like super cocky to the means that like he couldn't back it up.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He would tell you that he was better than you and go out on the ice and score 3 goals. So like it wasn't stuff that he wasn't able to really back up, right?
Yeah.
But no, I don't think Nate was ever cocky. He was just so passionate about what he did that he would get mad in certain situations, and then he would come off cocky or stuff like that. But he was never.
He always backed it up.
There's
a difference there. There's cocky and then there's confident.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's a very fine line between them, but he had very good self-confidence and he knew what he was able to do, right? Mm-hmm. But he was an interesting guy to be around. So
then Drouin came in at Christmas time and essentially tore it up as well.
Yeah.
Was his confidence as high as MacKinnon's coming into that year, or did he not know that he would be able to dominate at that level?
I don't think Joe had as high as confidence as Nate did when he first came in, but then like he came in and his first game I'm pretty sure he had 3 assists. So he just knew right away that he was able to play at that level, and then after that he just gained an immense amount more of confidence after that he never looked back, really.
Yeah.
And it was same thing with him, like fine line between being cocky and confident. And he was never an asshole or anything like that. He was always he knew what he was able to do, and he went out and did it, really.
So the 2 best players on the team, MacKinnon and Drouin. And Drouin's a French guy, and I noticed in Q teams sometimes there's a little bit of separation between the French guys and the English guys. Did they get along at all in the dressing room? Were they? Because it's nice to have the 2 best players on the team getting along together.
Oh yeah. Nate and Joe were inseparable for
really. Like they had the bromance going.
Oh yeah. Like Well, they just knew that no one was really on their level, and if they weren't together, then like I don't know how to say that without being a dick and making them look cocky, but they just knew that they fed off each other and they played so well with each other that and they were going to PA together, they were going to school together, they were doing everything together, so they were automatically always together, so I don't think there was ever like a segregation and stuff. I mean, like we did have our French guys on our team, and we like I was kind of like the intermediate.
I was gonna say, you don't have a French accent or anything.
But I went to French school my whole life. I did primary and high school. I graduated high school back home and stuff, all in French. So like I went both ways.
You went both ways.
But I mean, I don't think there was really any segregation that way.
That's cool. Did you go to Prince Andrew as well?
Yeah. So
I've always wondered how that works. Like, how do you guys keep up with school? Do you guys have your own separate room? How does it work at Prince Andrew for the high school guys?
For me, it was a lot simpler if I wanted to go to university here, that just to do grade 12 instead of try and do like CJEP courses online or something like that. I just said, you know what, I'll just go and do my grade 12, which a lot of guys did. Even a lot of the French guys did too. It was just easier that way. And no, there wasn't really anything that they did differently. Like we attended the classes that we could.
Exactly, that you could.
And then they were just really nice about it too. Like we could all the profs were really like they knew what we had to do, and they gave it to us in advance, or we did it. And our academic advisor was really good too. Like he was always staying on top of us for the high school guys anyways.
Were you a big tracksuit guy? Because the tracksuit, that's a shield in the Halifax community. Or what did you wear when you went to school?
I couldn't. I
don't lie. If you did,
I
you
swear.
Did.
A lot of the guys would always chirp me because of that, and I would never to school anyways. I just couldn't. It was just not something I could do. I remember.
I don't know if I believe you.
I swear. I remember the guy that would drive me home my first year. I'll never forget him.
What's his name?
Every day, Alex Cote. Every friggin' day, he would wear either his track pants or his track jacket.
Just loving it.
Oh man, it was so funny. But. Yeah, I know what you mean though. I wasn't a big tracksuit guy at school. I'm still not like. I'll wear sweatshirts and stuff with our. But even going to St. Mary's, like I can't even put my tracksuit on going to school there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to have that reputation.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, did people know? I'm sure people still know you, but like you said, did you go to the mall and someone would be like, "Hey, Hardie"? Like, were you recognizable?
Not necessarily for me, but a lot of people knew like Joe and Nate pretty easily.
Did they care? Did they like have trouble with it? Or they just kind of brushed it off.
Not that I really saw. Like they've been in the spotlight since like Nate's been in the spotlight around here since forever. He was like 14. Yeah, and Joe was always the highest. The best player in our leagues when we were back in Montreal. So I don't think it ever bothered them. I'm sure it gets annoying at some point.
Well, especially in Halifax, man. There's some fans out there that are just...
Yeah. It's a little intense.
I don't want to talk because they're probably listening. But it's... all right, well, that's good then.
Yeah.
But the media coverage throughout that first 2 years were insane. Whenever you guys went on the road and stuff, like... Explain to me, like hotels and things like that. Would there be media outside the buses waiting for you, like to talk to Nate and Joe and things like that, or was it just more at the rink? Yeah. Because there's an NHL level of like fans waiting for you at the hotel, and then there's a major junior level of just at the rink. Was there kind of creepiness, like, you know what I mean?
Media wise, wherever we went, especially when we would do our Quebec road trips and stuff like that, like there was like at least 10 reporters just waiting to talk to Nate and Joe, just because it's a trip we don't make often and stuff like that, so they wanted to get their story in while they could. And creepiness, I'd say the only stuff that was really weird was like the amount of card collectors that would wait for us around like the hotels and stuff like that for Nate and Joe, and even Foucali too.
That's a guy I completely forgot about.
Zach. Just they would every time, it would be the same people too. Like they would go from spot to spot with us, and they would just get them to sign these cards.
Creatures,
like consistently. And that I don't think there was ever a moment that it was any like super weird. Like it was all stuff that was manageable. But
Did they ever like hold up the bus or anything?
Oh yeah, a couple times. Well, a couple times just because they had to sign so many
Yeah.
things, and then, but it's not much. It's like a couple minutes, and then we went. But Dom had no problem stepping in when stuff would be weird too, and that. So
Well, what do you mean? Like he would step like to the fan and be like, "All right, we got to go."
Yeah,
kind of
we gotta
thing?
go, let's
You guys
go.
don't have like a media guy, like there was never like a.
well, we used to have like there's a marketing guy and stuff like that, but he doesn't come on the road with us.
Oh,
and
okay.
that. So there was never. It was more of our coaches that had to take care of it. Usually, my first and second year with Nate and Joe, it was our assistant coach that did that
Yeah.
a lot. And then, yeah.
I was gonna say because like that year must have been an absolute frenzy, and for like because essentially you guys were at the NHL level, like you just said, your practices were at the NHL level, and I'm sure off the ice there was shit like that was going on. So the fact that your head coach had to step in a couple times,
Oh, yeah.
says something. Well, let's get into that. Let's get into the coach. Dom just got named the assistant, or Dom Ducharme.
Yep.
Just got announced the new Montreal Canadiens assistant coach. Well deserved. From what I think is his career took off after that year.
Yeah.
You guys won the Memorial Cup.
A lot of people say he got lucky. He had the right players and stuff like that. But I think it's even harder to manage a team that's supposed to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
Like as good as we were, like it's hard to manage like the characters we had on our team. Like our first line was Marty, Nate, and Joe. But then
All in the NHL.
But then you gotta manage the second, third, and fourth, and keep them happy enough that like those guys on our fourth line shouldn't have been like they would have been first line on any other team. Like our third line had all three guys had 80 points.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Wait, who was the third line? It was Boudreau,
It was Boudreau, Luca, Ciampini, and
Ashley.
Yeah, it was like a mixture of Ashley and Brent and
Yeah,
like
okay, yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like try and tell those guys that like they're not gonna play as much, but obviously they knew it was for the best. and stuff,
Better,
but,
yeah.
But like you look at someone that has 82 points and you say,
You're on the second unit power play.
yeah. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think it's harder to deal with that personally.
Well, that was my question about like the dressing room, like if there was ever any controversy, because there must have been. Like, I'm not trying to dig for anything. I'm honestly not.
No.
But like it does say a lot towards Dom if you're able to manage all of that talent in one room and make everybody happy, because that's what comes with pressure and being with
Yeah.
two all-stars.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think there was ever any controversy that year. The only stuff between like the team, I think like the English guys and French guys started to get real annoyed of each other. Would come like by the end of it, like by like game 92 of the year, where we were finally finishing off, and
Yeah.
like it was either we win or lose our last game of the year, which is a lot of people wanted to be in the position to do, right?
Yeah.
Being in the Mem Cup, but I think it's just being sick of being around each other
Yeah,
for
it's just like
so
anything.
long. Like we played 92 games that year. Like that's you put people together for that long. Like I saw those guys like probably around like 8 hours a day every day and no days off.
Yeah.
And the days off that I did have was spending more time with them. So like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you're gonna get annoyed at people somehow. But
Yeah.
there's never any controversy. I don't think. No.
That's always great to hear, because a team that's a championship team, that they guys have to be, you work as one unit. Excuse me, I can't even talk. So, anyways, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a defenseman on that team that kind of goes under the radar. He's in the NHL now.
Yeah. Weeks.
Talk about a guy that just took advantage of his opportunity, and
Yeah,
from
big
when
time.
you played with him to where he is now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Weeks started out. I think he was junior.
Mackenzie Weegar, he's talking about.
Yeah, Mackenzie Weegar. He started out junior B when he was like 16 or 17, and then got invited. I don't know if it was. Yeah, it was my first year. No, it wasn't my first year. My second year. Got invited to Mooseheads, and he was sick at camp. Played really well, and then that year his confidence just went through the roof, playing with guys like Nate and Joe and stuff like that. And then just really like he just bloomed into like an unbelievable player. Like the way he plays was the way he played. Like the way he plays now is the way he played in junior. And a lot of people didn't know if he was going to be able to do that like offensively and stuff like that. But playing with him as a D partner, he was pretty cool to watch. Like he's very good, and he's another guy that you could just tell that always wanted to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Funny guy off the ice.
Is he?
Yeah, but he's he's a character, but he's another guy that just works so hard at what he does. So
That's awesome.
it's not surprising to see where he is now. Like, we all knew he was good enough. It's whether he wanted to do it or not, really.
So you say that he grew into a player that he is today. Do you think that has a lot to do with the Mooseheads organization as the development? Do you think that they're good with developing players and making them go to another?
Well, like, you even look at our team that year. A lot of it was, some of it was acquiring guys, but a lot of it was just like drafted. Like, a lot of us that were on the team were all drafted by them.
Yeah.
And even like Weeks was signed from Ontario. Like, he got passed up in the O. He got passed up. Like,
He got passed up in the O.
Yeah. So like, for him to be like, they're able to pick and pluck guys like that out of other leagues and make them good. Like. That, I think that says a lot about an organization. Like, Cam is unbelievable at finding players like that. And,
is he?
Yeah, like, even Jesse Lucier that plays for Dow, like, I played with him for 2 years with the Moose, and it was the same thing with him. Passed up in the O, just played junior A, and then Cam signed him, and he
A lot of that has to go towards Ali McDonald too, the scout.
Yeah.
I've talked to him a couple times. He's very good at his job,
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah, Ali's a good people, and that, like, all their, like, the scouting and everything is really good.
Yeah.
Well, you can just tell that too by, like, the Europeans that they get year in and year out. Like, like having Ehlers, Timo, Ferk, Abelchauser, like.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to bring up was if you look at all this alumni that's coming over from Europe, staying in Halifax for 1, maybe 2 years, and then going to the NHL, how good is that for the next generation of Europeans that are kind of on the edge of not coming to Halifax, but seeing all these young guys
for sure
basically bounce off a trampoline, which is Halifax, and go to the NHL?
Yeah, I think it especially attracts like European guys when you look at guys like Nick Ehlers and Timo Meier that aren't necessarily from like workhorse countries like Swiss and Danish, but then they came over and like just destroyed the league. And now they're unbelievable in the NHL right now.
Yeah.
So like you look at guys that are like, I don't know if I can do it, and then you see guys like Nick and Timo come over and really do it.
Yeah.
And it attracts people. It attracts guys so much easier for the team and stuff like that.
It also goes without saying how comfortable that the Mooseheads make these players when they come over here.
Yeah, for sure. Like, like the guys, for a lot of them, it's an easy transition too, because like I think Marty is the only one that really had trouble with English. Like Abelchauser, Ehlers, Meyer, like they all spoke like 4 or 5 languages. So like coming over was not a big deal with like language wise and stuff like that. And then just make them feel comfortable with the houses they were in and stuff like that. Cool. It was. You can't get a better position.
I want to talk about Bobby and Cam, 2 NHL legends. Do they have any, like, I know they don't want to interfere with the coaches, assistant coaches, and things like that, but do they ever come down in the dressing room, talk to the guy, say, how you doing, what's going on?
I don't.
Or did they kind of stay away from the team?
I think, well, when I was there, anyways, they may have come down and talked to coaches and stuff like that, but us-wise, it was never. I think once Cam came down my first year when we were just playing like complete shit against Rimouski after we had just beat Quebec, and he just came down and just reamed us apart. But that was the only time Cam ever came down, really. That
really
I could
interesting.
Think of. Yeah, they kind of just stayed out of it. Obviously, I don't know if they were in talking to the coaches every 2 seconds, but. Yeah. Player-wise, they stayed out of it. Obviously, they were in our day-to-day lives. Like, we saw them all the time and stuff
on the
like
road
that.
and stuff.
Yeah, it's very easy. They're super easy to talk to and stuff like that. But now they kind of stayed out of it. And that obviously we had the only time Bobby ever like got into talking to the players was he didn't like long hair or beards. We weren't allowed beards. No,
really?
No.
I didn't know that.
Even during playoffs, no.
No beards.
Yeah. Well, you look at any picture when we won the Mem Cup, we're all clean shaven.
I didn't even think to look at that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, you know Luke Warner too.
Yeah.
Well, me and Luke played on the Mooseheads together for like I think it was 8 games. I think, and Bobby was the coach.
Yeah.
So Bobby was out there coaching with us, and he never said anything about that.
Yeah, I know. Like. He never really said anything to me about my long hair. I had really long hair the year we won it, but beards was a big no-no. Like you stayed away from that.
He's flying you to games. So.
Yeah. Like it was never. We just always just were kind of like we kind of wanted an explanation. That was the only thing we wanted.
Did he give it to you?
No, well, we
He's
never
just old school.
We never really asked. A lot of it, people said it was what they did when he won the cup with the Canadians and stuff like that. So
He won a cup with Montreal.
yeah,
right?
yeah, I think he won one or two.
I've always heard good things about Bobby behind the scenes. Like
Yeah,
a couple years before you got there was a couple players that like broke their wrist or something, and he lives out in Arizona. Flew them out to Arizona,
Yeah,
put
yeah.
them up at the house, got them like the best top of the line wrist surgery, things like that. So there's always been good stories from Bobby coming out of that
yeah,
organization.
for sure. And even like injury wise and stuff like that, I can attest to that. Like breaking my jaw and like breaking my nose and stuff like that. Like I was in with the doctors the next morning, like getting surgery and stuff like that. Or even I had to get an MRI on my shoulder. They're paying for like private MRIs and stuff like that. They're not like, they want the top of their line for their players, and that's when I really understood how good they were to us. When it came like that time that it was like I went under and got surgery on my jaw, and then they visited me the next day.
Who's
like,
they?
Like Bobby and Cam.
Did
so,
they?
Yeah, it's stuff like that, right? That
Think
like,
about if you're a parent here in this story. How good does that make you feel?
yeah, exactly. Like my parents weren't able to come down for that, so like it makes them feel a lot easier about it, that I'm in good hands with whatever's happening, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, they're good. They're good.
That's good. Did we talk about Dom? Yeah, we talked about Dom.
Yeah, we
a
talked
little
about
bit.
Dom.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does next year. I know we talked about managing personalities like the NHL. You're
Yeah.
managing ego. You're managing millions of dollars. You know, like
I think it will be a little different for him because he's not going to be in that head coaching role, so he's going to have to be like kind of that.
the player coach
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. And I think he's going to be able to do that pretty well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's one of the best coaches I've ever had. Like hockey wise, he's an extremely smart
I love that.
hockey sense. Yeah, he was unbelievable.
There's so many bums coming up through the system that just have no idea what they're talking about. Not, I shouldn't say bums, but just like, I don't know, people that don't really know what they're talking about, and it's just you can't even back it up, the things that you're saying. I want to talk to you about something. Not really something. It's just the coverage of those years. John Moore's videos. You ever go back and watch those? Every time I watch those videos, I always see the boys kind of making fun of him or joking or things like that. So what? Tell me about that.
Johnny was funny. He was on legitimately all our road trips. There's one thing you have to say about John Moore was how hard he worked, like doing all those videos, like broadcasting our games, like doing all that stuff. But yeah, we had a good laugh with Johnny most of the time, like doing his little interviews with his camera and the little old-fashioned microphone he had and stuff. Like, yeah.
I remember seeing some videos like someone would be at Tim Hortons eating a bagel, and you would just kind of creep up behind them, be like, "What are you doing?"
Exactly. Like we would always used to look at him and just be like, "Johnny, what good does this bring anyone to see me eating at?" Like, even at the hotel, we would be eating in the morning, and we would all have like bedhead and stuff like that because you couldn't wear hats when we were down eating. And he's just like videotaping us. Oh, you can find some terrible videos back in the day.
Yeah, and he was consistent with those. Like, oddly enough, I watched them. Like, they were all, because I subscribed, they were always being uploaded. Like, you guys would play a game, and then it would be over, and then it would be posted an hour later.
Yeah, like, that's what I mean. Like, that guy worked really hard to be able to do that, and then do the broadcast for our games, and then I'm pretty sure he wrote for
Chronicle Herald,
yeah,
maybe?
and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure he wrote his own blog.
Did he?
And so doing all that's pretty intense. But yeah, Johnny.
Do you ever go back and watch those videos and be like, I remember that?
I haven't in a while, but if I ever do, it's mostly to go and laugh at the guys in the background.
There's some funny stuff, man.
Yeah.
You get some good stuff.
Yeah.
I wish I had more of that stuff covered when I played. It's great for memories, man. It was a lot of fun.
Sure.
Pre-game rituals. Food, stick tape, right gear on first, anything?
Nothing crazy. When I was in junior, I ate plain pasta. That's pretty much all I had for pregame meal, and
that's it.
Yeah, that's all I had. And
were you a coffee before the game guy?
No, I can't drink coffee even during the day.
You can't drink coffee.
I can't drink any pre-workout or caffeinated anything before a game. I get extremely stressed out.
Really?
Yeah, it's so weird.
Like high blood pressure or something?
I have no idea. I just I can't. I just get myself like into a game on my own. Like it's not. I can't do
Really?
any of those stuff. Some stuff that some guys take like it's so intense. They'll mix like coffee with pre-workout and they're like getting amped up
Before a game. They'll do it?
I'm just like I'm good.
Interesting.
But no, like I tape my stick a certain way. I'd put it in the doorway a certain way, like it was on like the door frame. And
say that again.
Like I would put my stick after I taped it, like the door frame, like it sticks out a bit, and I would put it like right there, and that's where my stick was. That's pretty much it.
What flex? What 100?
Yeah, I had 100 extra long. They were extra long, like Bowers and Easton. So they would, by the time I cut it, they were like 120, and then just a regular socket curve and stuff like that. Nothing crazy.
Grip? Or you like it slippery?
No, grip. I can't.
Yeah.
I even found like some of the sticks I had grip were too slippery. Like I would take extra if I could.
Do you do the tape up and down?
No, that's too like that.
That's too grippy.
That's gummy. Like there's a difference between like good like stick grip and then gummy. Like gummy is like you can't take your hand off it. You can feel it like sticking.
Yeah.
But like good stick grip, like I can't. I don't know how guys play with like a slippery stick. Like
I can't do it. You gotta have grip. The new ones that they're coming out with I don't know if that's new or not, but the new ones are grippy.
Yeah.
How did it work with sticks on the Mooseheads? Any time you wanted something new, could you just request, or was it you got to wait till your batch was broken?
Well, yeah, we each got. So you ordered what you wanted, obviously, and then like you got a batch of 12. And then you would usually, like, for guys like me and stuff like that aren't superstars.
Hey, man, you were top 3 defenseman, or top 4, top 3.
Yeah, but you go through your batch and stuff like that. My first year, I was lucky we played with Bauer. Yeah. So that was pretty awesome. But then we went to Easton next 3 years.
Weren't happy about that?
I didn't mind it, but some guys
No.
Didn't like it too much. My first year, I think I went through like 30 in the first half of the season. Jesus. Just like it was the new Makos and stuff like that were just like super whippy and like just absurd. But then like you also had the guys on the team that were already sponsored by like CCM and stuff like that. So like they would be playing with whatever they wanted and whatever they needed really. But it was never. I was never lacking anything to say.
You always had something.
I always had it. Like trainer would give us a hard time sometimes if we were asking for something new before it was really like broken or anything. But
did you ever have Coxie?
No, I never. I've heard stories about Coxie, but I always had Chris McDonald.
Chris was always a great guy.
Yeah.
He was always nice to the newcomers.
Yeah, he's very nice.
Coxie, I could say something different, but
I've heard some stories about Coxie.
Fucker. He took. I'm not going to get into it.
No.
Okay, well, what curve do you use? You a heel curve?
No, just Sakic. Just
as a defenseman, really interesting.
Yeah, when I played midget, I was playing with Lindstrom, and then once I got to the Moose, I had Sakic. Yeah, you'd always get those odd comments from the coaches, like, "What are you doing playing?" I was gonna say, but yeah, some guys would play with bigger. Honestly,
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Even in our league right now in university, there's guys that play with huge curves on the back end, but
I've always liked a big curve.
I don't mind it.
Do you have a hard shot? You got a hard slap shot. You're in the AUS as a defenseman. Are you on the power play?
No. I'm a purely defensive guy, to say the least.
All right. Okay, so you win the President's Cup.
Yeah.
You guys are heroes.
Yeah.
How many days off do you have before you fly out to Saskatchewan, I think it was?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so we went to the Mem Cup was in Saskatoon.
Saskatoon.
Yeah.
I get the two mixed up.
But so we won it.
Oh yeah, sorry, no. What did you do that night you guys won?
Oh, Jesus.
You gotta give me something.
So we won it. We stayed out on the ice like exceptionally long.
After the fans left?
Well, we had most of our family on the ice and stuff like that to take pictures with the cup and actually raise it and stuff like that. And then got back in the room.
Sorry, it's bringing back memories. What a night.
Yeah, and then got back in the room and there was beers for everyone that was of age and stuff like that.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
I have to say it.
Anyway, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we're all drinking and stuff like that, and we had alumni that were there too. So
that's
we had
always
like Travis
nice.
Randall, we had Critchlow and all that, like Cuzner and that were in the room with us, so that was good. Yeah, and we were all just getting drunk and stuff in the room, and then we just went straight downtown from there. And,
Where'd you go?
That time, I think we just went straight to Toothy.
I was gonna say, I thought I heard you guys on the ice yelling Toothy.
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah, well, that was the good days at Toothy. Like you don't go to Toothy and do any of that shit anymore.
yeah.
But no, yeah, we all went out to Toothy in our suits and shit. And,
Oh boy, with the cup.
Oh yeah, with the cup. All our coaches were there. The announcer, the Moosehead announcer, like the guy that you hear at the games.
I don't know who it is, but
I forget his name.
He was there.
He was announcing our names and stuff at Toothy. Yeah, so
that's hilarious.
that was
So we got on the DJ mic. Like,
yeah. He was up there. Yeah, that was a debacle, and it was like 3:00. And I'm just wandering around, and I see this real tall guy with like a Moosehead sweater, and I'm like, man, I know that guy.
Yeah.
And it was Fukali's dad that was in there till like 3:30 with us. It was awesome. It was hilarious. But yeah, it was a complete and utter shit show. I think we went to Nelly's first.
I heard rumors about Nelly. Something happened.
Yeah, it was the whole debacle with that because they let Nate and Joe and Falksy and everyone in.
Yeah.
And we went to the back and got a bunch of free stuff and that, and then
who paid for the drinks at Toothy? Was that just on the house?
you
have no idea.
You couldn't tell me. I have no idea. I never took my wallet out once. That's for sure.
Awesome.
That whole week after we won the Mem Cup, I just wore the hat downtown and I didn't pay for a single thing. But you got to think about it. I was fresh 19 and like,
oh my god,
fresh 19. And then I win one of the biggest trophies, and it was just a shit show.
I was gonna say, like, because as soon as you win the President's Cup, it's like, of course, you just want to have a shit show for like the whole summer. Yeah. But it's like, man, now I gotta go play the Mem Cup here.
Yeah, so we had like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then of
partying,
of playing. No, they stopped the partying like instantly.
Oh.
Like we were only allowed like a couple days, and then, well, it was funny in playoffs we partied more than we did all year. Like it was very strict with the Mooseheads. We didn't go out much. We had 2:00 curfew if we did go out, which was shit because like we wanted to stay out until 3:30 at least.
Did you always have to go back to your, like, if you picked up something you couldn't?
Yeah, you always have to go back.
Could you ever bring girls back?
Yeah.
To the billets?
Yeah. It was just an honesty thing with your billets. If it was just certain situations you were able to.
Okay.
But yeah, so like we didn't go out much, but during playoffs, Dom had a thing like if we were able to sweep a team, like he would let us go out.
That's a great rule.
Yeah, so we swept the 3 first rounds.
Woo! That's incredible.
And the 4th round, that was to win the President's Cup, so we were going out whether we won it or not, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we went out pretty much more in playoffs than we did all season, and then going to Saskatoon,
private flight.
Yeah,
big flight.
That was crazy. That
NHL size plane.
Yeah, well, that was like it was like an NHL. Yeah, it was an NHL size plane. Like we all had
seats like that.
No, not even. It was a regular, but we all had a row of like 5 or 6 seats. There's 5 seats on either side. The thing was massive.
Did the parents go on the flights too?
They didn't. They didn't come. They didn't come with us. They flew on their own and stuff like that. They didn't really offer that. But yeah. So that. Got to Saskatoon, played the games. Play against Portland and stuff like that was absurd. How good?
Yeah. So talk about playing against some like.
Yeah.
Talk about you had NHL guys on your team. You played against.
Yeah.
Some massive NHL guys now. Seth Jones.
Yeah, Seth Jones, Derek Pouliot, Ty Ratty, like all those guys, like Bjorkstrand.
Talk about what it's like playing one-on-one with Ty Ratty coming down the wing.
I don't know if you're saying that out of if you actually know what happened, but
no, what happened? I'm just saying that.
No, you can look it up because there's a highlight of him toe dragging the shit out of me.
If you're good to continue talking, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, there's a.
What do I YouTube?
I don't know. It was like Ty Ratty goal and Mem Cup. It was a highlight. It was like on SportsCenter and shit. Made me feel like crap for a couple days.
Who cares?
But like playing against those guys was intense. Like you like Portland's D core were all signed, and if they weren't signed, they were going like top 10 in the show.
Yeah.
So like it was absurd. But the one downfall they had was their goalie was a complete and utter hothead.
For who? Portland?
Yeah, it was this guy. He was a Philly pick. He was nuts. And our goalie coach came in the room before the game and told us, like, he is crazy. Like, chirp him when he skates by the bench and stuff.
Really?
And he actually was nuts. Like, would lose his mind, like, consistently during a game. Like, it was crazy. And
what a weirdo.
We were able to get to him that way. And that's pretty much how, like, if they had a good goalie in that, we would have had a lot harder time.
So I got the goal here. Let's bring it up. Number 88, Hardie on the wing. All right, we'll watch it together. Give me a little breakdown here.
No.
Is this not it?
Oh, it could be. Yeah. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
You just put your head down.
Yeah, this is on a PK too.
Oh, what are you doing swinging your stick there? You got to take the body. Oh, Falkenham was watching too, though.
Yeah, he was coming down. They ran
so quick.
They ran a play like that. He would just come down and swoop and pick up the puck and get a bunch of speed and come in the zone.
That's how quick he was.
And yeah, and he was just firing down so fast, and then like I just had no options. Like I was like, either I go at him and he does something, or I stay where I am and he shoots and I'm the screen. So I really had nothing else.
Jesus.
Yeah. I remember, like, they were so cocky though. Like,
Were they?
Yeah, like Leipzig and stuff like that. They were super cocky. Like they looked at us and they were like, "Why are you guys wearing mouth guards and like neck pieces and neck guards and stuff like that? You guys are such pussies and stuff." And we were all looking at each other.
What kind of
like,
chirp is that?
Just like didn't know what was going on, and like they were dominating us in like the first and like midway through the second, and then like Nate just took over. Yeah,
I don't even know what to say about that. I don't have to say anything. People know about that game.
And then Nate just took over. And then the game we lost against Saskatoon was, it's just a different style of play between leagues. Like
I was gonna say that must have been interesting playing against teams that
like playing against Western teams. Like maybe not Portland because they were so skilled, but like Saskatoon, they had a lot of guys that were just so physically imposing. Like they had Ferland off of Calgary right now. That's just like. He was so scary to play against. He's probably one of the scariest guys I played against. Just like so intimidating, would probably beat the shit out of anyone. But
would he beat the shit out of Trey Lewis?
Oh yeah, like Trey's tough, but like this guy was nuts.
Wow.
And he would come down like flying and just try and kill anyone because Saskatoon they weren't good. They were out in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And anyways, they ended up beating us. So we were a little bit shook after that, but then. When we look back on it now, like all our losses were for like a reason. Like even our loss against Baie-Comeau, it was even better because we got to win it on home ice. And like we had 6 losses during the year, so we look back on those 6 and like they were all in perfect times.
Yeah.
So then we just looked at it that way, and after that it was over.
The Baie-Comeau series, you won 4-1, right?
Yeah, 4-1. We lost 1 in Baie-Comeau.
How perfect is that, though?
Yeah, exactly. Like
give me the mood in the dressing room after you lost that game.
So I remember us losing, and it was a weird game, and we just didn't play well, and shit wasn't going our way, and like it was never oh shit, we're gonna lose. Like all the guys would just look at each other and go, oh well, fuck, we're gonna win it on home ice. Like it was never, I don't know, it was never a mindset of any doubt. There was no doubt whatsoever. It was it doesn't matter. We'll win it next one. And then we went out, next one 5-1, and then went home and did the same thing. So it's like it was stuff like that.
That's incredible.
That's when like even like midway through the season, that's when we knew like how good we were. Was we would go into third periods like down by 1, down by 2 or something, and it was never there was never a thing in our head that would go, oh well, might not win this one. It was always like, all right, well, let's go.
With the confidence of MacKinnon and Drouin there, and Ferk too, I guess.
Exactly.
Just like you're never out of a game at any point.
Yeah, for sure.
I had season tickets that year, and I was like on the side where you got shot twice, and I was in lower bowl, kind of midway lower bowl. And I remember just watching some of those power plays of Drouin, MacKinnon just work the puck.
Yeah.
Just being so fortunate, I only paid $150 for these season tickets. Like, I'm watching NHL caliber guys put on a show, and it's basically just those two, and like Fournier would be in front of the net,
Yeah,
and just like he just put his ass right in front of the
Fournier
goalie.
scored 40, literally just being around the net. Like I don't think he had a goal like outside the crease, and we always used to make fun of him because of that. He would always like try and say, "Oh well, I got 35 this year." We were like, "Yeah, man," because he was literally huge, and you could just like tap it in. But I mean, he's proved himself too. Like he's in the A full time and stuff like that too. But yeah, it was just funny. Like they literally made everyone around them better.
Yeah.
Like to think that I had like 17 points that year, that's a lot for me. Let alone like I had 5 goals like the year after with Joe too.
Did you? I'm not gonna look. I believe you, but I got it up right here.
Yeah, so I scored 1.
Yeah, 18 points.
Yeah, so I scored 1 that year, the Mem Cup year, and then I scored 5 the next year, and it was purely because of Joe. All those goals were purely because he just knew where you were on the ice at all times.
Don't lie when I ask you this question.
Yeah.
Tell me the truth. Was Joe pissed when he came back to Halifax and he didn't make Tampa?
Oh, yeah.
He was livid, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He was livid. I knew it. Why can't hockey players be honest? He's in the news. Oh, it's the right decision.
Well,
I knew he was pissed.
We're all built that way.
I know it's the code. I get it. I fucking hate it.
It's not the NFL. It's not the NBA. Like guys don't go and voice their opinion that easily.
I get it.
But his first like 10 games, we were like,
what?
Do we want him back? Because like he had the normal attitude of someone that knew he should have been in the NHL and was like, this is fucking stupid. I'm playing against guys that are 16.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just like kind of like sooky and stuff like that, which made sense. Like, and then he snapped out of it and just
tore it up.
Then came back to being like Joe.
Because he was still young. He couldn't play in the AHL, could he?
No, yeah, he was like freshly 18, so he couldn't play in the A or anything like that. And he would have been top scorer in the A too. Like, yeah, that's the only thing about the CHL that kind of
it's kind of fishy.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think he reacted in the way that we thought he would. But he snapped out of it. Like some guys react that way all season. Yeah. And he was able to do it for like a 10-game stretch.
So he snapped out of it after 10 games?
And then he was good. But even when he was in that shit stretch, he still was having 2 or 3 points a game. Yeah. So like...
But it's just a mental thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's hard.
Oh, like, absolutely. Well, none of us can relate to
everyone's telling you how good you are and how you're going to be the best player. And then all of a sudden, you're getting cut.
You're back in Halifax.
Yeah, because... that's just how Yzerman goes about his work in Tampa. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so it was weird, but it worked out for us.
Well, it's good to hear that you snapped out of it, or he snapped out of it in 10 games.
Yeah, it was never something that he was like, no. Yeah. Whenever you think about it, really.
So you played with Ehlers then?
Yeah, played with Nick.
I could fucking sit here and talk forever about that, but I want to get to you now, AUS. Like, you know, fuck it. Do you have time? You don't have.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's 5:40. You're good for like.
Yeah, I'm good.
So Ehlers. Yep. Talk about him. His first year training camp. Was he be like, this guy's definitely going to the show, or was there development there?
No, like we knew how good Nick was like right away. Like he was top tier. Like the games that like he was playing, he was really good. I mean, he scored 49 as a rookie. But yeah, the guy that we were really not skeptical, but we weren't sure what was going to happen was Timo. Timo was like his first year. He was kind of like,
was he a little fat? Was he chubby?
Well, no, he's just got that.
He's got the big bone.
Yeah. He's got like the baby fat look to him. Yeah. Like when he was in junior, anyways. Yeah. But he was good. Like he had 45, 50 points his first year, but we were all like, oh, well, like he's a Euro. Like, especially the Euros that come to Halifax, like they should have
2 years.
Yeah. Well, 1 or 2 years, and they're usually like unbelievable right away. So we were kind of like step back a bit. And then next year when Nick left, like
took over,
Timo just turned into another person. And again, just developed so quickly. And just turned into this big-bodied forward that could just do whatever he wanted. And then really took over, and now he's doing the same thing in the NHL. Like,
What was he like in the room, Timo?
good guy. Like,
Good guy?
Yeah, like both Nick and him were super. Like, they were quiet, did their own thing, and
Yeah.
vocal when they needed to.
Yeah.
All of them, they all have different, like, very unique personalities, though. Like,
What do you mean? Just like somewhere?
well, like Nate and Joe were a lot more vocal than, say, Timo and Nick.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do you mean vocal on the ice or in the room?
both.
Okay.
But yeah, they're just different. It's different mentalities too. It's different cultures, like, and stuff with the Euros and that. It was interesting to see, like, even playing with Abelchauser and Furk and that. It was interesting to see, like, how they went about their lives. Really, Abelchauser is probably like
The funniest, nicest guy there is.
the nicest person to ever live. Like, the type of guy that, like, gives his tickets because his tickets to like to the IWK all season long.
Yeah.
Like, that type of guy.
Yeah.
And then you got Marty that's just like an airhead, but the greatest guy ever.
Yeah.
And just like, it's just all different personalities, right?
Yeah.
It's cool to see.
Speaking of Marty, I saw him play this year out in Vancouver, and they use him for exactly what you think they use him
yeah.
for. It's like, it's sad, but it's wicked because he's there, but he's only on the power play, and then he just lights up the lamp. He got like 2 goals, I think, if you look at his stat sheet, it's like 8 minutes played, 2 goals.
Yeah. He is a funny guy. Like, but that was the hardest shot I've ever played with in my life.
Funny story. This is before you were there. I got called up, and I was a dummy player, obviously. So after practice, there's power play specialist, and I get put on the fucking point where Marty's at the point shooting the puck, and I got to block the fucking shot right off the top of the leg.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, I kind of want to yell at the guy. I'm just like, what the fuck is your problem, man? This is practice, but it's like, I want to stay here as long as I can, so I'm just going to let him shoot pucks at me all day.
Yeah, like, he did, but he was notorious for doing that in practice. Did
he do it? He did it all the time.
Oh, yeah. Like,
I thought it was just
Marty
me.
would come down one-on-one with you sometimes, and you'd try and snap it through your legs, like, as a D, and he would just snap it and hit your ankle. And I remember...
Oh, so this happened to you, too?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
in Rouen. That happened. He comes down one-on-one and just snaps a wrister, and his wristers are as hard as my slap shots, and he cranks me on the ankle, and then he goes, "I sorry." And I'm just like, Marty, I want to be so fucking mad at you right now, but I can't because, like, I know you're just you.
Yeah.
But he was funny. He almost, like, wanted to have that, like, rebel bad boy look to him on the ice, but.
With the pulled up jersey
and
showing the tats.
But the guy was the hardest worker ever off the ice too. Like, the guy'd be squatting 3 plates before we would go practice. He was just like, he was a workhorse at what he did. And
I love hearing that.
But man, he was hilarious. Like, being around him was a treat. You lost your English most of the time because you had to speak broken English to him.
Yeah.
Marty, go to mall with us.
Yeah.
And he would answer back like that, and then you would have to realize after, like, you got to speak normal.
Yeah, that's funny. That's crazy though, because you think about it, the guy went from the East Coast Hockey League to the NHL in the matter of a year.
And this is nothing against Marty, but we all thought, like, he was going back to Czech, to the Czech Republic. Like, when we saw him in Toledo in the coast, like, we knew how good he was, but I mean, he would get that attitude, and then he would kind of, like, not want to play anymore and say how much he hated hockey. And then he just, like, got on his horse again and just was like, all right, fuck this, I'm going to make it. And then tore up Toledo. He loved Toledo. Like, he would always tell us how much he liked Toledo. And then he went A for Detroit. Didn't mind it, but they won it the year,
he had the game winner of the Calder Cup.
Yeah, he won the Calder Cup. And yeah, he was a big part of that team when they won it, and then made it the next year. And that was like, we all kind of thought, like, he might be going back to Czech Republic. Like, not that it's easy, but it's like, it's easy for him because he's from there. Like, it's home and everything. But he's got to, like, he really wanted it, so it was good. It was one of those guys that you were happy to see do really well because you knew how much he deserved it. But then he just got, like, those tough breaks most of the time.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like, there's not a lot of guys that I see, like, from the teams I played with that I look at him like, he doesn't deserve to be there. You know what I mean? Like, every guy that I played with, like, deserves to be where they are right now.
Well, let's talk about a guy that, could be there but isn't there now, Fucali.
Yeah.
You know, another great junior career.
Yeah.
Gave you guys confidence on the back end for a lot of years.
Yeah.
He's in the A right now, I think, in St. John.
No, it was Laval.
Laval, sorry, they moved.
It's Laval now, but yeah, but it's so tough for goalies, right? Because
there's only 60 positions or 61, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
and there's 6 in an organization to begin with, max 8, and then you get 2 guys hurt in the show, and then you're already up starting full time in the A if you're in the coast and stuff like that. So it's different. It's just completely different game. So when people that don't know hockey very much and they're like, "Oh, he's down in the East Coast. What the fuck is he doing?"
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, take a step back.
It's a one-day jump to the A.
Yeah, exactly, especially for goalies. I don't know. I think he just fell in a weird situation too in Montreal. Price,
not many spots open,
and then they bring in the right-handed goalie from NCAA that played sick right off the bat. So it kind of got thrown around. It'll be interesting to see what he does in the next coming year
because he's still young. He's 23, 24.
Exactly. That guy is unbelievably smart. He's always trying to get smarter in a different way and stuff like that. He loves school and stuff like that. So
really? So he's school smart too.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So goalies are weird. Was he a weird guy in the room?
Oh.
What? That's a good question.
Yeah, he had some weird rituals. He, the crack in the seats in the room, so you can lift up the where you sit down.
Yeah.
And that crack, he would put tape, he would put shin pad tape, and he had it perfectly centered.
What do you mean? You put tape that's already off the roll?
No, so he had a roll of tape, and he put it, and he had to have the crack going perfectly down the center of the roll of tape.
What?
Yeah, just weird. And or before a game, he had to clean, he would clean his helmet, from, puck dings and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah?
And he would clean it before every game and stuff like that. But he would clean it in my friggin' stall.
Oh, you sat next to him?
No, I didn't even sit next to him. I was on the other side of the
Why would he sit in your
room.
stall?
I don't know. I love Fuchsy to death, but I don't know why he did that. The amount of times that I asked him why, and he just... I don't know. That's just what I do.
That's hilarious.
But
I love it.
That's really it. I'm sure he had his own quirks that he did in his room and stuff like that before he would go to a game. But he loved to be there super early.
Really? So how early before the game would he get there? 3, 4?
He would get there to the point where our trainer would be like, "You can't come this early."
How early? 3 hours before? 4 hours?
Yeah. If he could, he would be there for 3.5. But yeah, he was...
I always hated that about hockey, how early you got there. If it was up to me, I'd be there 30 minutes
I don't
before.
mind game-wise being there early.
Yeah, practice.
But practice, I'm not a big fan of it. But, no, he had his quirks.
Sorry, keep going. I'll turn this off.
Yeah, he had his quirks, but, Fuchsy's Fuchsy.
I never even thought about the fucking house phone. Who has a house phone anymore? Jesus.
Who calls a house phone? That's more important.
I know. Anyways. How early did you get to the game? 2 hours?
Yeah, I was more on the early side too, so 2 hours, 2 hours 15. I enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just sit around and do my I don't have a lot of rituals, but
You guys had so much food before the games. You guys had a grilled cheese station.
Oh yeah, well they cut that out when
did they cut it out?
Yeah.
Why did they cut that?
Because it was...
People are abusing it.
Yeah, because it's stupid too. You eat that much before a game, it's not going to be any good.
Or there was a grilled cheese station, a Nutella station, chocolate bar station, obviously a Gatorade station.
Yeah, we
still
had all the snacks and stuff, but
they had grilled cheeses.
I could never eat before a game like that. Some guys Joe would eat a bunch before a game.
Would he?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about pregame. It's literally an hour before.
An hour? What do you mean he'd eat from the snack tray?
Cheese sticks, pieces of toast. I'm just come on, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Did MacKinnon have any rituals at all before the game, or he was just a nonchalant, go out,
He's
rip it up?
He's pretty nonchalant. I think he had his ritual just like getting there at a certain time and stuff like that. But it's nothing that I saw that was really crazy.
Cool.
And I sat beside him for 2 years.
Did you sit beside him?
Yeah, I wasn't really. He was just messy.
Was he messy?
Like his stall was all over the place all the time. But
Oh, Jesus.
he was 16.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's kind of cool, though. You sat next to him 2 years.
Yeah.
That's
Funny.
not bad.
Yeah, it's weird.
So let's talk about. I've heard this from a lot of people, so I want to know if you think it's, true or not. Do you think that the AUS is better than the Q compared to speed wise and skill wise? Obviously not, maybe not skill wise, but like speed. Do you think it is?
I just think the AUS in general is just an underrated league.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just to see how good some guys are, like from UMB and X and even our team, and they just go and play in the East Coast right away, or the A. It just shows it right away. And our league's a little different too. It's a lot more like it's a lot more rough than the Q and stuff like that. Like
bigger guys, you're not playing against 16-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. You're dealing with guys that are like, some of them are 27, 28. Like, that was the big difference for me coming in.
Mm-hmm.
That was something I liked too. That was a part of my game. So I liked the physical aspect of it, but it's intense sometimes.
Yeah.
And refs in our league just kind of let shit go, so it gets a little crazy.
Yeah, it's odd with the no fighting there. It's kind of
So that turns some guys into
that's what turns into guys
the fake toughs. Yeah, so they'll be taking liberties pretty easily. But I mean,
do you know why there's no fighting?
I think it's because back in the day it was known as the fighting league. So like back in the day when like it was a good league, but it was just fights consistently. And, like, especially with school rivalries and stuff like that, you would have guys that would absolutely fucking hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I could see why they don't want it, but at the same time, it would kind of give some guys a humble awakening in our league. But
yeah, absolutely. That would be the most frustrating thing, especially like you for the physical aspect of it. I'm not saying you're a fighter, but like hockey needs to be a part of, or fighting needs to be a part of hockey.
Yeah, I agree. There is some situations where like you get into it, and like especially this year where we've had guys get hit from behind and stuff like that. And you're just like,
so what do? You just kind of ragdoll them?
You just get into a scuffle with them.
That
pretty
sucks,
much.
But it's a fake scuffle because
you
can't do anything.
I mean, there's ways around it. There's obviously like I can take liberties on people when the ref's not looking, but it goes both ways really. If a guy wants to do that to your player, like it's gonna go. Like I'm gonna make sure it's gonna happen to you too.
Yeah.
Not saying that I'm gonna come and take him out from behind or anything like that, but you know what I mean. Like,
I get it.
But no, it's a good league. I think I don't think it's comparable because of the age, but I think it's good hockey. Like I think a lot of people are missing out on watching it. Say when the Mooseheads aren't playing in that, and I understand why they go to the Mooseheads. Like I've been there, I see that. Like there's guys that are unbelievable. But you got guys in our league like Hunter Garland and stuff like that are just they're so good, and like they could easily Gar's had offers in the A and stuff, but he just wants to finish the school now and get it done and then go. And like guys like that, it's fun to watch. So
yeah,
I don't know why people don't, but I also understand why they don't because it's the forum.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. You guys are getting a new rink. So are you playing next year for SMU?
Yeah, next year I am.
Is the rink going to be built?
Not next year. It would be in my 5th year.
So if you do play your 5th year,
it'll be built. A rink on campus and everything. They already started. They already started tearing down the old one and everything. Yeah, it's
okay. Well, that would be something to come back for your 5th year too. Yep. A brand new rink.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It'll turn SMU into SMU's already been good every year, like somewhat good every year. And I think it will just turn them into like a powerhouse for being
like a UNB.
Yeah, for sure. Like turning guys say no because our rink isn't on campus. It's far and stuff like that. I'm not saying all guys who say no say that, but like it's just situations like it's not an easy campus life. Like you got to live by the school and then drive to the rink every day, and we practice at 9 a.m. It's not something that's convenient at all times, you know what I mean? But yeah, it'll make it a lot easier.
Absolutely. It'll be great for scouting.
For sure.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the new rink. That'll just be good for Halifax in general.
Yeah.
We're at an hour and 20, man. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything I've wanted to cover with you.
Yep.
I want to get you back. I want to get you back with Nosy. He says he has some great stories about you, so it'd be good to get friendship insight.
I've got some interesting stories about Nose too. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, we'll get you back. So we're going to wrap it up here. Once again, the listeners, viewers from the camera, everyone listening, I appreciate the support. Go to Instagram, like us, go to iTunes, subscribe, leave a comment, 5-star only if you want to. Facebook, like, all that good stuff. More good content to come. Austyn, once again, man, I appreciate you for coming on. Thank you for giving a good insight into a world that a lot of people are very interested in, which is the Halifax Mooseheads and high-level hockey around Halifax. So thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, we're out. Thanks again.
Thanks.